noemen dat Casa CASLa, het huis van CASLa. En we vieren vandaag de opening van dit huis. En we doen dat door alles in het teken te zetten van Teun Koolhaas. Architect en stedenbouwkundige en de ontwerper van heel veel heel belangrijke dingen hier in Almere. Hij is ook aanwezig waar wij bijzonder blij mee zijn. Dus Teun, heel hartelijk welkom, speciaal aan jou. John Worthington is een hele oude vriend van Teun. En ze hebben elkaar leren kennen in Amerika. Want Teun heeft niet alleen gestudeerd aan de Universiteit van Delft, de TU Delft, waar hij cum laude afstudeerde. Maar toen kreeg hij een beurs om in Harvard in Amerika te gaan studeren. Daar heeft hij uiteindelijk John Worthington ontmoet.
We are sitting with pictures of your work all around us. But more important, we're sitting right here in your work, Almere and the polders, and that was a really important thing, I think, to do. So, if you excuse me, I think I'm just going to talk, because I think there's a real story to tell. My life and Teun's life, I suddenly realized as I sat to think about this, have interwoven. Sometimes because they didn't know each other at all, and many times because they came together. We were both foreigners in the sense that we grew up outside our own countries. Teun, born in Singapore, of a trading family, shipping, and being in China, and then in turn in the Dutch East Indies. I grew up in India, a very same kind of colonial spirit. And I think that is very important, Teun, if you can take it, that where you come from. You are naturally international. You just have that sense of the big space, and that's very important. You are bigger than your country, and I think that is quite important. And it's very specially Dutch, water and landscape. Those two great things coming together, I so much feel with the work of Teun. So the hotness. Teun, in fact, came over 2 years later than me. I went to Harvard and then went on to Berkeley. Very interesting combination, of course. Harvard in the Graduate School of Design, and in Berkeley, regional planning and business administration, management. So he was taking those both sides, the design and the process, those two things together. And I think his strength has always been that. Teun always amusingly would come to me, he said, "Oh, John," he said, "architect, engineer Koolhaas," is what he referred to himself. That is rather unique. That person who is both a visionary, which is the designer in you, but knew every detail, superbly practical. It could be why I think you have not had the kind of sense out there in that big, flashy environment of the sort of respect that I would have expected. It's because you're not flashy enough with all that stuff out there. But what you have is lastingness, and that's very important, Teun. You know, it's that sense of it going on. When I was thinking today as we were driving across and came via Utrecht, a very important building. And I don't know exactly what your role was on it, Teun. You might tell us together when I've just said this, which was the dental faculty. Indeterminate architecture. Fantastic building. Remember when it was? This would have been 72, I guess, something round about then, 71, 72. And it was reflecting, of course, Jean Prouvé, Shadrach Woods, and the sort of work that we'd been seeing at the Free University in Berlin. That was a wonderful building still. Very, very important. You were involved with that, weren't you, Teun? Yeah?
The tower.
The tower, yeah, with the panel, metal panels. Yes. Very important building. Very nice. It's of a moment very much of reflective of its time. But coming to work for the new lands, the polders. And this is the really important thing. That's why I say we're sitting right in what I think is really what stands for my Teun Koolhaas. The polders and this city. It brings everything together. And in a way, what this was about, which is what I think we're all striving for and is extremely difficult to get, was collaboration, working together. Because that to me is the entry to the polders. And Zeewolde is a lovely, lovely plan. Again, it has that clarity of thinking, the architect and the engineer, the two things together. And it's anonymous who's done it in a way. Okay, Quist has done a lovely, lovely town hall, I think. Kosh, I do remember in a wonderful way that wonderful piece you did inside the big chamber there, you know, which is absolutely lovely. I tried to get in today, but I couldn't, you know. I wanted to remind myself, because I remember Teun very fondly when we drove out there, when you were still, it must have been about 83 or 84, you were still part of the polder organization, living in Lelystad. You had by that time built a little house